Welcome to January 2025. So let's go over the changes to the IGVF portal for this month. So let's start here. Display various new properties on the UI. This is a little hard to show because this is actually a whole bunch of small changes scattered in many different kinds of pages. I'm just going to show one example of an addition that was made on analysis set pages. Let's find one with workflows, and many of them have it. Here's one with multiple. And so we now show workflows if they exist on an analysis set right here. And we also link to them. And so there you go. And as I said, many other changes throughout the UI. Next, display current schema version. So if we go to the schema page, we can now see these schema versions. You can see some schemas have never been updated, like model files are still on V1. Other ones have gone through a lot, like measurement sets were on version 23. You can also see this display on the schema page itself under version. And you can see version 23. If we go to the changelog tab, we can see version 23. So that's up to date. Also, if we go to the schema directory page, you can click on this version number. So let's go to reference files, click the version number, and it takes you directly to the changelog page, version 15. This is still the same old schema page that most of you have probably seen. It's just that we're taking you directly to the changelog page. The version number on the schema page itself is not linked because the changelog tab is right here. You can just look at it that way. Okay, homepage update. For a while we've had a couple charts on the homepage. We decided to streamline the homepage to just show the most important parts. And so we now, for one thing, it's much faster to go to the homepage than it used to be. And we're just displaying one chart, where we can see the released process datasets by lab, released prediction datasets, and released raw datasets. We also have the corresponding released process datasets count, released predictions datasets, and released raw datasets. This is fairly similar to what we used to have. And of course these are links, so we can go there and see 825 measurement sets that are released. Next, display files with status validation exempted. So if we go to the files, we can go down to upload status, and we can see this new validation exempted status. And so now on the UI, we can see the validation exempted badge with this new icon, and we can also see it if we go to the individual page right here. And the last one for version 8.33 is add data model examples to data model navigation. So we now have a new menu item under schemas that shows you various data model examples. So you can just click on one of these and see a diagram that describes that data model. Let's go to version 34. And this is a big one. And you may have seen the announcement on the IGVF Slack group. Remove facet groups and display all facets. Now, before, on pages with the filtering, we'll say analysis sets, we had these groups that were sort of a tan color, We've decided to get rid of groups because it was a lot of times hard to know what group something really belonged in order to help people decide, well, which I'm looking for a particular property, which group would it be in? It was often just not very clear. So now you can see all the filter categories all at once. So analysis set type, assays, and you have these little indicators below it to show you, one, how many terms there are, and it will also show you selections. So if we open assay and we start making selections here, you can see this indicator gradually filling in. And you can see, if you hold the mouse over it, it'll tell you in numbers what the selections are. So we have 4 terms selected out of 14 total terms. So if we counted these, there'd be 14. And indeed, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 selected. You can also do negative selections by holding down the mouse over a term. So hold that down, and we have now filtered out any that do not have that value for that property. So you can add a couple here, and you can see now we have 14 terms, 4 are selected, and 2 are negatively selected. And also you can see the effect, even with these closed, of selecting terms on other facet categories. So if we had 14 here now, I select principal analysis. Oh, let's do this one. Yeah. You can see this number change to just 6. So sometimes these selections get a little bit funny. They're literally still selected in the query string, but because of other selections, you might not be able to see them. So it may not look quite right, but it is right. So, oh yes, and this still works. Clear all. Then we can see everything. And there's one extra power user trick where if you hold down your Option key on your keyboard and open one filtering category, it opens all of them. And if you hold the Option key down and close one of them, it closes all of them. So little shortcut for you in case that's helpful. Okay, and the other one is add analysis step version table to analysis step page. Let's take a look at the analysis step page. And we'll look at the version table. Why don't I clear them all out first, get a better view. This one has more than one. So we now show the analysis step versions in a table here. And we link to them. Okay, that's it for 8.34. And lastly, 8.35. This is an internal change. We have an end-to-end test called Cypress. Sometimes test data changes cause Cypress tests to break, and that's what happened here. It's just a matter of having the Cypress tests keep up with the test data. Download SVG files for graphs. So that is a new feature. If we go to analysis sets, and let's find one with a graph, and here's one. We now have this download button in the upper right corner, and if you hold your mouse over it, you get this tooltip that says you'll download an SVG file. And if I click it, depending on your browser, you might or might not see this download dialog. Mostly the Chromium-based ones, you'll see it. Other ones like Safari and Firefox, you won't see it. So let's just save it to my desktop here. And then if I double click it, it'll, in my case, open it in Adobe Illustrator. And from there, you can export it to other software, like presentation software, or if you're writing a paper, whatever document editor you use. And these are still editable if you know how to use Illustrator or other software that can handle SVGs. And any software you use that can open an SVG will let you save it in other formats like PDF or Illustrator. And so those are all the changes for January 2025. And I'll see you next month.